Sabaidi Pinang. Today I'll show you how to make soup pak. This is a delicious steam vegetable salad. You can use any veggies that you want, but I'm going to use mustard greens, Chinese spinach, it's also known as unchoy, fresh green onion, fresh cilantro, Thai pepper, garlic, our shallot, fresh ginger, and mushrooms. I like the king mushroom, also the Enoki mushroom and the beech mushroom. I like to use a variety for better texture. We'll also be using the wood ear fungus, hydrated. We'll use Padaek. You can use fish sauce if you don't have Padaek. Roasted sesame seeds. I buy mine roasted, but you could roast yours yourself in a pan on the stovetop. Kalkua, check out my video on that, and MSG, which is optional. All right, we'll also need our steamer pot, and we'll need a frying pan. I use my electric kettle for boiling water. We'll need a knife, our caulk and sack, a big old bowl, and we'll also need a strainer. All right, so let's get started on the prep. So first, let's de-stem our cilantro. You can throw the stems away or hold them back for gel som. Check out my video on that. De-stem our green onion as well as our Chinese spinach and our mustard green. I put all of that into a bowl and I'm gonna wash it really thoroughly. So I'm using cold water. I'm running the water through both the tops where the leaves are and the bottoms where the stemmy parts are, giving it a check to make sure it's washed. And I just repeat this until my veggies are super clean. Then we'll do the same for the mushrooms. So add all of our mushrooms to a strainer. With the beech mushrooms, the enoki, we want to de-stem those first. So just wherever the hard stems start, cut there, throw it in our strainer. We'll de-stem our king mushroom and then slice those down into smaller pieces. I like to submerge my mushrooms in cold water, give that a massage, toss it around in the water, and then just repeat this process over and over until the water runs clean. Mushrooms tend to be really dirty, so it might take a couple washes. Then once we have those washed, just set them aside to drain. Then we're gonna get started on our steamer pot. So add water to the basin of the pot. Use enough that you're not at risk of it evaporating and burning up your pot. Put it on high heat because we want to boil. I add my mushrooms to the bottom steamer and then my leafy greens to the top steamer. Add the lid and steam for about 30 minutes. And now's a good time to get your sticky rice on the stove top so that's ready when your soup pak is ready. What we're looking for is for both our mushrooms and our greens to be very wilted. So once they are, just throw them in a bowl and set those aside. Now I used a lot of greens because I'm making this for 2 parties that I'm attending this weekend. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the rest of my greens in the steamer pot. I'm using both the bottom and the top. It should only take about 20 minutes for these ones because now our basin water is already at a full boil. And once that's done, the stem should break apart really easily and just set those aside to cool. Next up, let's roast our aromatics. So throw those Thai peppers in your pan. Cut your ginger in half. We're gonna reserve 1/2 for later in the recipe, but we're gonna coin the half that we roast. I like to do thin slices so that they roast a lot faster. We'll also peel and quarter our shallot. We'll add our garlic cloves as well to this pan. And we're also going to slice up our lemongrass and get that in the pan as well. Then add your aromatics to medium to high heat. I like to continue to stir my aromatics so that they don't burn. We're looking for a good char, but not burnt. So then once we have that great char, we add it to our mortar and pestle, and we're going to pound those down to a thick paste. The house already smells amazing. Now, if you don't like a lot of spice, just use less pepper or even no pepper is completely fine. We'll add our MSG, and our Padaek. Give that a really good stir, and then we'll add about 1/2 cup to a cup of boiling water. That's why we use the electric tea kettle. All right, so we're gonna give that a stir, and then into our sauce, we wanna add our peeled and sliced ginger. This smells so delicious. Then once we have that all prepped, we'll just set that aside. Coming back to our cold greens and mushrooms, throw it all into a bowl and add our black fungus. I like to chop mine, but you could add yours whole if you liked. And then we'll get that stirred up really, really well, making sure that we're separating the leafy greens. They tend to stick to each other. We'll pile on that delicious spicy ginger sauce and then mix that in really well. We'll add our kaukua along with our roasted sesame seeds, and it's already looking and smelling so great. I do hold back some of the sesame seeds for topping at the very end. So don't rush the mixing process. Really take your time to ensure that everything is well coated with the sauce. You want full flavor in the whole dish. Then what I like to do is top it with some rough chopped cilantro and green onion. You can coin your onion, but I think the diagonal slice looks a lot prettier. And that's really it. We're just going to mix this in, get those fresh herbs a little bit wilted, give it a taste, adjust seasoning as needed. I suggest just throwing a dash of salt in there at the end, and then you can plate. Once plated, I like to top it with some fresh unwilted herbs and hit it with a little bit extra sesame seed. I would describe this dish as fresh but savory, and I really hope that you try it and that you love it. You can eat it with sticky rice or any protein. Check out the description box below my video for the full list of ingredients and the measurements. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and until next time, Cup Jai.